Good crack. Good crack. Who doesn't appreciate a good crack? Hey, Kelly. You missed me cracking. Come on, people. Where are people? Get in here, people. There. No, I did. Yeah. Better than yesterday, but well enough that I had to work, so. So really, how good could I be? Yeah. Where are the people tonight? There's nobody coming in tonight. Gonna make for a rather dull stream if there's no one I can chat with, you know? How am I supposed to know what to chat about if... Back up for a minute, entice others to enter. I mean, at this rate, 3 minutes and 3.5 minutes, and you're still the only person chatting here. Can see a few people watching, but nobody chatting. Hey, oranges. We have a second chatter in the chat. We have a second person in the chat now. Is it tonight? Absolutely nothing. There's nobody here. Hey, Kat. Work? Yeah, I did have to work. trying to feel the vibe. The vibe is non-existent at the moment, Cat. It's new? Yeah. As usual, nothing. When am I getting a rice cooker? My plan is probably Thursday. I've got a counseling appointment 2:45. Just stepped into a pagan Norway chat where the vibe was precarious. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that does sound. That does sound like it might be a really dangerous vibe. Pagan Norway. Yeah, that could be a really, really bad time. Not precarious. Yeah, at least not in probable white supremacist way. Like pagan Norway, that strikes me as white supremacy. The concerns are epic. I don't know. I suppose I can see, but yeah. But yeah, so like I've got a counseling appointment about whether we should be tolerant. Yeah. Yeah, sounds about white. That sounds about white. It is unfortunate that if you see someone rocking, like if you see someone wearing like, something that it's inspired by Norse mythology, if you see someone wearing something Nordic, like something Norse, they're probably a white supremacist. Better than even odds of it. Like someone can wear something inspired by Greek mythology, and hey, they're a fan of Greek mythology. But Norse mythology? No, they're a white supremacist. Norse mythology, like people who just normally enjoy Norse mythology, like they can't wear that shit because the white supremacists have completely co-opted all of it. It's a shame. Anyway, the rice cooker. So I've got counseling this. I've got counseling on Thursday. So what I'm thinking is after my counseling, I will I do want to hit up the comic shop again. There, I want to check if the comic I ordered is in yet. Pretty Deadly Vault Edition. Woo! I want to check if it's arrived yet. I'm getting very impatient for it. So I'm gonna head up the comic shop to see if it's there. On my way home from the comic shop, I'll stop in at the store to pick up a rice cooker. What I order? It was Pretty Deadly Vault Edition. Pretty Deadly is just like, it's my favorite comic book, and this is the Vault Edition. It's basically like an artist edition. So it's just sort of like an artist edition of the first volume of Pretty Deadly. So I believe it's it's gonna be like black and white, just sort of highlighting the line art and everything. And I mean, Emma Rios is like just my absolute favorite comic artist. Her style is just incredible. Just such a sense of motion that she's able to convey, and like and emotion, tone, and feeling. It's just an art style that just blows me away every time I look at it. So yeah, I'll show it off. Speaking of showing things off, there is something else I ordered, but I'm not going to reveal what it is. I ordered something, but I'm not going to say what it is until it gets here. Do I get it right now? Walking. I walk. Big Creative Comics bookshelf. All my comics. I think that's all my comics. So I've got 2, 4, 5. I've got 5 boxes of comics. What is it writing? No idea. Hopefully not too long. Don't have don't have any tracking information yet. See, I've got 5 boxes of comics, and one of them, I think one of them is completely full of my Sailor Moon manga. Or is like mostly full with my Sailor Moon manga, which I really need to just fucking get around to reading. Like, just straight up, I just fucking need to finish that. I read like the first 5 volumes, I think. Is the Sailor Moon Eternal Edition, which is very pretty. Very pretty covers. Yeah, I don't remember exactly when it is that I stopped, so at some point I should figure out which box they're in and just like start from the beginning again. Read through them all. I believe it's I think it's 11 volumes of the main series plus 2 for Sailor V. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, pretty sure 11 of the regular and two, like 11 of the main series, and two for Sailor V, 2 volumes for Sailor V. Next trivia night? I don't know. Give it a month or so. Give it a month or two. Trivia night? What's this? It's something I do every once in a while, Kat. Every once in a while, I'll just do a stream where we do trivia questions. Mad Libs. I keep thinking about that, but it's the issue we ran into. Like the issue I've run into is there's like not a lot of interesting. Like there's not a lot of fun looking Mad Libs online. All Oh, on all topics, Kat. Hey, PK. Fucking 16 minutes for another regular to come in. Jeez. Hey, military. How capitalistic X-Men really is. No? In your bathroom? Gross. I mean, I'm not entirely sure how. Thanks, military. I'm not entirely sure how X-Men is particularly capitalistic. Professor Xavier is a tax evader, though. It has become a fairly common meme that Professor Xavier is a tax evader. Survival of the Fist. Obviously, pretty much one way to exist in the world is through his monopoly ego. I mean, no. That's first of all, it's not survival of the fittest. That's apocalypse. The X Men reject that. The X Men believe in coexistence, and are very much about those who have power using it to protect those weaker than themselves. Um, Xavier, I mean, as far as Xavier offering one way to exist, it's not really. I mean, he preaches coexistence. Obviously he believes that his method is the best, or that he believes his dream, of humans and mutants coexisting peacefully. Obviously, he believes that that is the best solution for the world. But I mean, it's not like he's saying, "Oh, you have to be an X-Man. You have to come to the mansion." He's fully willing to acknowledge that there are other ways of pursuing peace. I wish I spoke X-Men. Bear in mind, one thing to remember is that I am a comic book fan. I grew up on the 90s X-Men cartoon. Loved that 90s cartoon, obviously. Um, I watched the movies. That is all I will say about the movies. I watched them. Um, Loved the 90s cartoon, but mostly I'm like comic guy. Like mostly I am a comic guy. So like when I talk about the X-Men, I wish I spoke Klingon, but it's sort of neat. You haven't read Shakespeare. You haven't read Hamlet until you've read it in the original Greek. Or the original Klingon, I mean. You haven't read Shakespeare until you've read it in the original Klingon. Um, so yeah, so like whenever I talk about the X-Men, I'm approaching it from a comic book standpoint. Like that is always going to be. I think Duolingo has Klingon. I am sure it does. Yeah, that's always going to be the perspective I'm approaching it from. Which means that I'm also approaching it from the perspective of 60 years and 60 years and dozens, maybe even hundreds of writers, even more artists, all telling their own stories. So sometimes the franchise sometimes becoming downright incoherent. But what would life be like if COVID didn't happen? Hey, Peps. Impossible to tell. Been wasting my time learning Hawaiian. Ooh, Hawaiian, nice. Reverend Anonymous. I know, PK. There's like so few of the regulars are here tonight. Kelly's been here since the start, and here's No Name in, and Oranges is a regular. Cockatiels? Yeah. Birds in general, I'm pretty neutral on. Yeah, like Vanna. Now people are coming. I mean, to be fair, Vanna, 2:30 on a Monday 2:30 on a Monday night. 2:30 a.m. So I want to go on. That was pizza. It was okay. I did finish the wings. I did not finish the wedges. It's too much for me. 10 wings and a big thing of wedges ended up being too much for me, but yeah, it wasn't bad. Hey, Trash Bandy. Lurking? Yeah. Fair enough, Trash Bandy. That was easy as Welsh, or what's that Irish language? expensive. Kinda, yeah. I feel like Hawaiian probably isn't actually as difficult as Welsh. Welsh does just Welsh and Gaelic and those languages just don't seem to make sense. You know, like two Chickadees when I got rerouted through the Honolulu airport a few days ago. 146-day streak though. Nice. Horrible time wrapping my head around the grammatical structure of the sentence. Fail often? Meh. Place I want to travel to and why? Scotland, just because I love Scotland. I'd love to get back there. Greece, because I do have an interest in ancient Greece. I'd like to see, Parthenon and all those ancient ruins. And Japan, because I want to visit. Japan's got some pretty cool theme parks. The Nintendo theme park, fucking love to go to the Nintendo theme park. The Ghibli theme park, fuck would I ever love to go there. 446-day steak. That's one big steak, or one old steak. Duolingo can kind of bully you if you fall off. Hence the memes, I imagine. I've seen people make jokes about it. Hey, Abby. You're not like my moi. Every time you talk about Scotland, I imagine you standing in a field wearing a kilt holding flowers in your hand. I have never worn a kilt. Honestly, also not much standing in fields holding flowers. I don't think I've ever really done. Not that I can recall, at least. You'd look adorable. I do genuinely want a kilt. I do want to get an authentic kilt. There's found kilts to be respectable articles of clothing. I mean, I do know the clan I belong to. Yeah. Venom Wadney. I thought she was mwing someone else. Real Scotsman freeball it. Yeah, I'm just not sure how comfortable I'd be with freeballing. Of course not, Vanna. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm Clan Robertson, so got a clan tartan. My clan has its own tartan. Miriam Margolyes and that one actor go on a trip in a van to Scotland. Nope, never watched that. Thoughts on pickleball? I have never. I have no idea what pickleball even is. I've never looked up anything about it. I've heard of it. I have heard of it, but I've never looked it up. Honestly, I'm still not completely convinced that it's fake. Like I'm still not completely convinced that it's not just something people made up. Oh, I'm going to the. Oh yeah, I'm going to the gym. Do what? Pickleball. It's pickleball. That's definitely what I'm going to be doing. No, definitely a real sport. Definitely a real game. Yeah. I don't even know why you think it's equivalent to Calvin Ball. Bring back the brown shirt, wear it tomorrow. Well, I mean, I'm not going to be live tomorrow. I'm sleeping in tomorrow. So I'm not coming on live. Going tubing. Sounds fun. Hey, Marissa. Bought a pickleball court at Walmart for $50 for a 9-year-old. They're building a pickleball place near me called Chicken and Pickle. Serve chicken and have pickleball courts. Okay. Tell you, nothing that anyone has said to about pickleball makes me think it makes me any less inclined to think that it's fake. That it's all just some weird joke that a bunch of people have gotten in on. Wear sunscreen, maybe even a baseball cap. Yep. Gonna burn. Yep. That's why I avoid the sun. Hey, Charlotte. Never seen me in a hat. Funny enough, when I was a kid, I always wore a hat. I always had a Montreal Canadiens cap. Always had my hat on. Hey, Val. And then went back to Australia. Oh, never see never catch you live. Yeah. And then high school, I wore a fedora type hat, vitamin D pills. I take multivitamins. I take these one a day. Which? Directions for adults. Chew 2 gummies daily. Directions are chew 2 gummies daily for 1 a day. Why are they called 1 a day if you're supposed to take 2 a day? 1 a day means fucking 1 a day. Break tea, but that's basically candy. I mean, it's got vitamins. It does have vitamins in it. Regardless. Why are they not called 2 a day? Why is it 1 a day when it enrages me? It enrages me. In all honesty, it actually does bug me. Like, it's such a stupid thing to get annoyed about, but it actually does bug me that the 1 a day vitamins are supposed to be taken twice. You know, you're supposed to take 2 a day. Lots of gamers have a vitamin D deficiency. You know who doesn't have a vitamin D deficiency? Your mom. Obviously. Taking daily vitamins recently, but ran out. Haven't picked any up yet. Gamers and vampires. Yep. Something I'm trying to double check here. Is it still working? I do still have a job, yes. So, hey, Hamburger Eyes. Sorry, I was looking at something. Sorry, Hammer guys, I was looking at something. So I got an email a couple days ago about a is a Kickstarter project, a game, a visual novel. Got an update. Is about a visual novel that I backed on Kickstarter back in the day. 2015 visual novel that I backed back in 2015. They expected, like, their initial, like, oh, this will be done by date was going to be back in 2016. Like, they had planned on releasing, like, their expectation was that the game would be released back in 2016, back in like April 2016 was when they were estimating it would be done. It's going to be, it's probably, they're expecting to have it out next month, July. And that'll be early access. Or no, end of this month. Never had a Kickstarter come back as done. I mean, well, no, that's not how. No, not owning part of. That's not how it works. You're not. You're not an investor. Like, Kickstarter is not an investment service. Kickstarters can be a waste, but a lot of smaller ones tend to fall through. Yeah, I mean, there's I backed a lot of Kickstarters back in the day. I used to back a lot of them, and most of them I did. To be fair, a lot of them were comic books, like graphic novels. So I got a lot of those were almost finished anyway. Like the people at the creators had mostly finished it by the time that they put it up anyway. Fair number of visual novels as well. Not sure what Kickstarters do. So what you're doing is you are pre-funding. Like, you're basically saying, you're pre-ordering. It's a pre-order. A lot of big Tumblr ones that never made it in video games. Yeah. Yeah, like, the more ambitious it is, the less likely it is to get finished. So I didn't really have much interest in what happened to the Kickstarter doesn't get finished. It got refunded. Potentially. So, like, there have been instances where a Kickstarter has been funded, and the estimated delivery date goes by, and some people are like, hey, you missed the delivery date, I want a refund. So that does happen. Friend's brother made a video game for PC back in the day. Company gave him $25K and $1 per unit sold. Ended up selling over 1 million copies. Nice. Yeah, so things like visual novels, like I would back like visual novels. I think there are a couple of like RPG Maker games that I backed. The things I backed had it better than more likely to be released than not. sometimes by the estimated date, sometimes they were a little bit late. This one is 9 years. This one is 8 years late. 8 fucking years late. It's just, but it's about to be released. The early access, at least. They were super ambitious. Like they just got stupidly ambitious about it. It's like a visual novel / dating sim. Um, there's a whole bunch. I got back an artist every year. Fella for his yearly album. Sorry, yeah. Like if he's like, hey, pre-order my album, and you put forward the money to the to pre-order the album. There you go. 8 years ago. It is, but they were. I think there's like just a couple people. Like it's just like two people working on it. Um, and the idea they had was, hey Becky, stupidly ambitious. So like I said, visual novel, dating sim. Uh, the idea behind the plot is that uh, seven kingdoms each send uh, a couple of um, a couple people to a summit where they will find a spouse. So it's like political marriages. So the idea is like all these seven kingdoms looking for political marriages. So each kingdom has one or two, usually in most cases two, in one or two cases one. I think in one or two cases it might be three. Uh, much money does it take to develop? Much what they're looking for? I don't remember that part. I am mail order bride now. So there were like 14, there was something like 14 different romance options. Beyond that, the player character could come from any of the seven kingdoms and would have their own, and like depending on what kingdom the player character comes from, they would have their own storyline as well, in running in tandem with the 14 or 15 or 16 or however many romance uh, plots. Really invest in the artist, so I trust or like them enough to do that beforehand, because it might not work out or take one. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like it's whatever. If it thirsty games, I'd say different from that. But do you mean thirsty suitors? Because it's very different from thirsty suitors. But yeah, so it's like seven sort of background specific plots, and then all those romance options, and spread out over 7 weeks. That's the other thing. It's spread out over 7 weeks, and like each week has its own events that can happen that can lead to other things happening in the following weeks, and so on and so forth. So it was overly ambitious. Hunger Games, but with thirst traps. Okay. Because that's what really tripped them up, is the ways that each week influences the next, and events from each week affect events in the following week and figuring out, like, how this love interest reacted to your events in this week, 3 weeks later. It's just, they really did, for just a couple people, it was way, 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 way too ambitious. And I mean, shit happens in shit happened in their personal lives as well. So yeah, that causes delays and everything. I think they have been releasing demos all this time as well for backers at certain levels. But yeah, never saw Hunger Games. I never watched Hunger Games either, or read the books. I never watched or read Hunger Games. Yeah, it's just, so yeah, 8 years late, but they got it done. At this point, I think they're just sort of waiting to see how many bugs get reported to them by players. Dreading how many bugs get reported to them, probably. Yeah, I believe that's like the longest for, like, of all the projects I backed. I think that's the one that went the absolute longest. That's still actually getting finished. Like, that's still actually getting released. There's a couple other projects I backed that are, almost as old, but which are almost certainly not going to happen now, just due to events in the people's personal lives. Like, I backed a third volume of Duck by Tana Ford. That's that one Game of Thrones. Last one, when trapped in a house with people freaking out over the last one. Only one got. Okay. Yeah, so like, I backed Tana Ford. Like, she was crowdfunding for a third volume of um, her series Duck. Not long after the Kickstarter closed, she got hired by Marvel to work on to do the art for the Silk ongoing at the time. So it's like, yeah, her still a little personal comic, and absolutely took a backseat to Marvel and IDW, and working with like Nnedi Okorafor, and just actual paid work, fucking Dungeons and Dragons, doing Dungeons and fucking Dragons comic. Yeah, no shit that her little comic had to take a backseat. So I have no idea. Like, for a while she was still working on it. I have no idea if she still is at this point. It's been long enough that it's entirely possible that she's abandoned it. That she's just like, this is not. Yeah, it's entirely possible that it's reached a point where it's like, I'm not the person I was when I started working on this, and I don't know how to get back to I don't know how to do this as I am now, so I have no idea if it's ever gonna be finished. Which is a shame because I was looking forward to it, but again, it happened, and I enjoyed her work on Silk. So I'm happy that I'm happy that she got started getting paid work. Yeah, I never watched any Game of Thrones. Never had any interest in Game of Thrones. Star Trek Prodigy second season 2 has a release date. Sucks, but I'm probably going to need to get a resubscribe to Netflix soon. Glorious Tits and Dragons. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get my subscribe to Netflix again soon so I can watch because that's who picked up Star Trek Prodigy. Everyone says I need to watch, but I don't feel the need. Yeah, same here. Orange is like my mom and my brother both tried real hard to pressure me into it. Oh, and hi, Danger Rider. Good, except for the last season. Like my mom and my brother both tried really hard to get me to watch it. I was like, I don't care. I don't want to. Funnily enough, YouTube won't let me say very, very hot. White-haired girl is very appealing. YouTube is weird. YouTube censors you weirdly, Vanna. Happy for some Star Trek Meta World. But yeah, it's the funny thing is like the more they tried to convince me to watch it, the more my stubborn ass is like, well, now I'm never gonna be able to. Well, now I'm never gonna watch it. I do have that side to me that like, people try to convince me to do something. Like, well, now I want to do it even less. But I feel like Game of Thrones is something that I was just never really going to be that interested in. It seems like a fairly cynical show. At least to a certain extent. Like it seems like a very dark show, and I'm not usually not very keen on that. Watch that girl's video about Star Wars Disney Park. Go to bed. Go to bed. Fucking 4 hours is a bit much, but I mean, I've heard people talk. Like I've seen people say that like 4 hours. I'm not gonna watch 4 hours of that. Holy shit! This fucking thing. This video is amazing. Did I ever watch anything to sleep? No. No, I never like I never watched something to fall asleep to. Don't know that I can do that. I think it would keep me up. I think it would distract me too much and I'd have trouble falling asleep. It's her experience too. Lots of inside info. Yeah. Yeah, I did hear that she like really, really wanted to side with the Empire. You know, she when she was doing these videos, like she wanted to be a villain, right? Like she wanted really hard to be a bad guy, and she just wasn't allowed. Like, they basically just didn't let her be a bad guy. I've also seen a lot of people argue that, I've also seen a lot of people suggest that while the Star Wars experience was a colossal failure, a Star Trek experience would probably do really well. Because, like, the ships are already like hotels. Then just Star Trek's got like a certain, traditionally, a Star Trek had always had a certain cheapness to it, just like whatever was it, like, they just had to fit whatever was in the budget, which meant fucking, hey, Gangster Planet, because there's, we've got the sets are on lot, the costumes are on the lot already. We're going to explore a strange alien world that just happens to look exactly like, exactly like 10 minutes down the road. So a Star Trek experience of that sort would probably end up doing quite a bit better than the Star Wars experience did. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. Some more weird Captain Picard action. Yeah. Let Picard retire, for fuck's sake. Let the man sleep. So, I'm gonna get going now. Oh, Captain Pike action. Sorry. What a. Sorry, it is like I saw P, but the rest was blocked off by the heart icon, so I didn't see it was Pike. But more weird Captain Pike action. Yep. Anyway, thanks for coming, everybody, and I'll be back on Wednesday. So, see you all on Wednesday. Good night, everybody.